I am well. Were you surprised that the Cavs were this active before the trade deadline, given how well the team has played all year?
No, I wasn't, Jay. The one thing about Kobe Altman and general manager Mike Gansey, and really up to ownership Dan Gilbert, they are relentless in their quest to bring a championship to Cleveland. And I think when the Cavaliers struggled against the elite teams in the NBA and lost some games, they looked at the roster, and again, can't argue with the results so far, but they're like, man, what's that one piece? And it was a lengthy wing athletic player. And so DeAndre Hunter was the guy they targeted from Atlanta. He's an outstanding player. He's under contract for 2 more years, and so they are aggressive, and they went out and made the move, and it did not surprise me.
He had 12 points and a rebound in the T-Wolves game and played 23 minutes. He looked pretty good. In your opinion, what does he bring to the table that the Cavs might have been missing?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that length. Most NBA teams, the elite teams, they have what they call that 3-and-D guy, the small forward that can extend the floor at the offensive end, knock down 3 balls, but also defend at the other end of the floor, the other team's 3-and-D guy. And so when you look at the likes of Jason Tatum and those type of players, those long, athletic type of players that get out on the wing and knock down threes and create havoc at the defensive end, that's what DeAndre Hunter is. And so that's what he brings to this basketball team. And to me, the Cavs are having a great season and are having a great season. But how do you make a team even better when they've won over 40 games going into the All-Star break? Well, the Cavs did it, and it was a terrific trade.
How did the other players respond? Because not every player likes change, and, sometimes friendships and camaraderies develop, but people know players come and go. How did they respond to the change?
That's a great question, Jay. We were in Washington. The Cavs were in Washington the morning after the trade was announced. And to his credit, the president of basketball operations, Kobe Altman, flew into D.C. very early on Friday morning so that he could meet with the team before shoot-around. And listen, Caris LeVert and Georges Niang played a major part in the Cavs' success through the first 50-some-odd games. And so they will be missed, and they were huge locker room guys, great friends of the current Cavaliers. So, yeah, it is shocking. And Kobe Altman went to that shoot-around and addressed the team to say, listen, you're allowed to do 2 things at once. You can be sad about the fact that you've lost 2 teammates that were great friends and great competitors, but we're bringing in a guy that we think can take us to another level. And so, yeah, people tend to forget that basketball players, they're human beings. I mean, 2 good friends of theirs were no longer on the team, and so they had to process that and absorb that, but they also understand the business side of basketball. I mean, it's what they do. And so very few Cavaliers haven't been on another team at one point or another. So they processed it, and now you move forward.
The trade moves LeVert and Niang to Atlanta, where they've been reunited with Larry Nance Jr. Can the Cavs live without these 2 players?
Yes. Again, the Cavs are a better team now than they were before the deal. And as I said earlier, that's hard to imagine when they won 40-plus games before the All-Star break. But, yeah, the Cavs can move on. They're a very deep team, and that's where they made the trade from a position of strength where they had depth. And so once they get Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro back, it'll still be a very deep basketball team. Again, I'm not minimizing the contributions that LeVert and Niang made, because they did. They were a big part of 40-plus wins. But the fact is that the Cavs have some guys that can take their roles at the, in the bench, and certainly DeAndre Hunter is just going to be a huge addition as far as the overall talent of the basketball team.
Now, today's the All-Star game, and we're represented by Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and our coach, Kenny Atkinson. The format is new. What can we expect to see?
Your guess is as good as mine, Jay. But listen, the NBA is the first to realize that it just wasn't working the past few years. I mean, these games were up in the 150s and 160s, and there wasn't any defense being played. So they said, let's retool this thing. So there's actually going to be 4 different teams, and again, they're going to have like a little round robin, or they're going to play against one another. So we'll see how it plays out. To be honest with you, I haven't really gone in depth as far as how it's going to work. In fact, I wasn't even sure which team, or 3 different teams. I said 4, but I wasn't sure which team Kenny was going to coach. Is it Team Shaq or Team Kenny Smith or Team Barkley? I don't think even the Cavs knew going into the weekend. So we'll see how it plays out. They're trying something different, but the real honor is just being named an all-star. That says, hey, you're one of the elite players in the NBA, and for the Cavs to have 3, and really it could have been 4 with Jared Allen. He's having an all-star season, but that's the biggest honor.
Now, is there a possibility that Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley may all end up on different teams, or will they all be playing together, or don't we know?
No, they did have a draft. The TNT guys, as I mentioned, Barkley and Kenny the Jet and Shaq had a draft. Mobley and Garland ended up on the same team, where Donovan Mitchell will be on a different team.
Well, won't that be interesting to see Garland and Mitchell go head-to-head?
Yeah, I mean, it should be fun in that sense. And then the other thing is, with 3 teams, one of Kenny's assistants will be coaching one of the teams, because Kenny was named as the Eastern Conference coach, and Mark Daigneault from Oklahoma City, the Western Conference coach. Well, you have a 3rd team, so it'll be one of Kenny's assistant coaches. So he may end up coaching against one of the guys on his staff, and again, that could add some intrigue to it as well.
Well, we'll establish some psychology appointments after the All-Star break. Tim, thank you so much for being with us, and you stick around. There's more Ohio Sports Magazine straight ahead on the Ohio News Network.
Football season is here, and we have so much stuff. One station isn't enough. Find even more Pigskin on ESPN Columbus.
Set your second preset to AM 1460 or 97.1 FM HD2, or listen on the Fan app.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
Attention hockey fans, score the ultimate experience powered by Verizon.
Verizon is giving 2 lucky winners the chance to win 4 tickets to the 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series at Ohio Stadium on March 1st. Plus 50 participants will have a chance to win a $50 gift card. Just stop by a participating Columbus Verizon store by February 18th to enter.
Get your shot at this unforgettable experience. Hurry to a participating Columbus Verizon store today to enter.
Must be legal U.S. resident of Ohio, age 18 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit 971thefan.com/Verizon.
Winter's here, and as the snow begins to pile up outside, you might find yourself dreaming of warmer days, sunshine, barbecues, fishing, maybe even thinking about those home projects you've been putting off for forever. Why wait for spring to start planning? Now's the perfect time to get ahead. With so many roofing, gutter, and siding companies out there, it can feel overwhelming to know where to begin. With over 30 years of experience and a focus on every detail, Newman Roofing makes it simple. As a family-owned business, they're dedicated to delivering an outstanding customer experience from your first phone call all the way through to the final touches on your home. When it comes to roofing, gutters, and siding, trust the name that's been a local favorite for decades, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
Come cheer on the Ohio State Buckeyes men's basketball team as they take on the Michigan Wolverines at the Shot on Sunday, February 16th. Don't miss out on themed games, unforgettable fan experiences, and the ultimate Buckeye traditions. Buy your tickets and gear up for game day at ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
It's a celebration of savings at Giant Eagle. Join us for My Perks Appreciation Days on February 21st and 22nd. Earn bonus perks on groceries and gas at Giant Eagle, Market District, and Getco. Visit gianteagle.com/appreciation for details.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
One smile is great, but one smile in a community of smiles is so much better. A smile has a secret power that most people don't know about. A smile multiplies. It spreads from one person to the next, stretching across entire groups of people. Smile Train knows this and is proud to be creating a wave of smiles across the cleft lip and palate community in over 70 countries. Patients, doctors, advocates, fundraisers. Collectively, our smiles are a celebration of the transformed lives of over 1.5 million children. Learn how Smile Train is helping the cleft lip and palate community at smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Changes have come to the Columbus Crew. Soccer guru Neil Sika joins us to talk about the impact these changes will have on the team. We were just talking a few weeks ago about this, and I kind of feel like the rug's been pulled out from under us. What do you think?
You want to cue the David Bowie song? That's what we need at this point?
Well, I don't know. I mean, or Lonely Teardrops, one of the two.
For sure. Look, I think if you're a Crew fan right now, you're kind of wondering what just happened. But
well, sure.
You can't be that surprised knowing full well that the talk around Cucho Hernandez for the last year and a half and the type of numbers he was putting up was going to draw interest. Now, I think people were steered in a direction where he had mentioned he wanted to sign a long-term extension. And that's nice and well, but ultimately it falls on where the player feels he's going to maybe take the next ceiling. And for Cucho Hernandez to get back in the Colombian picture and playing in a World Cup, and there was something that drew him to Real Betis from his days when he was over at Huesca, and he was a young captain in the Spanish second division. So I think the Crew wanted to do right by them, and I think right by him, and I think ultimately Issa Tall wants this to be a club where the player can feel comfortable in knowing that they're going to get better and go forward. And the macro version of all of this, Jay, is knowing MLS is still a seller's league. You're going to get guys who come in here, know they can maybe take their game to the next level, and then move on to bigger clubs. It's just the way it works around the world. And the next part is the more intriguing part to me as to how they're going to find the replacement, whether it be in this spring window up until April or more likely looking in the summer.
What does it say about American soccer? Because, you know, with other sports, baseball, football, just to name those two, we drive the bus. But in soccer, it's not the United States. It's South America or Europe. What does it say about American soccer? Are we a minor league? Are we a minor league for other countries?
I think in the aspect of the world game, when you look, there might be 5 or 6 teams globally that are the ultimate buyers that can do whatever they want and throw money around, and they don't have to worry about a salary cap over in European theater. The Real Madrids, the Liverpools. Once upon a time, it was the Manchester Uniteds, but even they're more frugal in their spending these days. MLS has never had that type of clout, and it's a good reminder in year 30 of the league where it still stands in the lexicon of global football. Maybe in the top 10, maybe right on the fringe, but in terms of having a salary cap where your teams technically can spend within the rules $5 million. Now, there are plenty of mechanisms around that, and nobody has a $5 million roster. But you're playing with apples and oranges when you're talking about a team still like Columbus compared to a Miami or an Atlanta. So what's the key for a league like that? Well, developing young talent, selling that off, which the Crew have done with some of their academy players. We've seen it in Philadelphia. We've seen it in Dallas, the Red Bulls, and then reinvesting in that. But also finding now a league where you spend a little bit more than even, say, a decade ago, and that money is invested in players who, like a Cucho Hernandez, kind of coming in a situation where they're entering their prime. They haven't gotten a lot of minutes at a bigger club, and this is a chance for them to develop and then move on. So I think that's really what the selling point of the league is right now. The Messi's and all that is an outlier. I think this is more in line with what MLS has been the last 4 or 5 years.
So does the Christian Ramirez trade to the LA Galaxy fall under that, or was there something else behind it?
I think at this stage in Christian Ramirez's career, he wants to go back home, and I think another emphasis of Issatal wanting to do right by the player. Christian Ramirez was a massive addition under Tim Bezbatchenko and Issatal. He's great in the locker room. He blended in so well, especially with your Hispanic attacking talent in Cucho, in Diego Rossi. Just a stand-up guy. Wants to be a coach. I think at this stage, for him to go back to Southern California on the West Coast is the right move for him. Now is the real first test of the Issatal era for Columbus. And if you think back over the last 5 years, Crew fans have been living high on the hog. They've had Lucas Telarayan. They've had Cucho Hernandez, arguably two of the best players in the club's 30-year history. So to go from that, win multiple titles, be in contention, you've got one of the best coaches in the league. I think the Crew fans need to have some faith in the GM that's going to have to make these moves. And he knows that the next one is a massive one in terms of a DP forward or someone that can be in that conversation to match what they've had in their last two big signings.
Poor Diego Rossi. Los Tres Amigos are now one lonely amigo.
Yeah.
Is the Crew in rebuilding mode now, and 2025 might not be a competitive season, or is there still hope?
Not at all. This is a really good team. Is it an elite team? Well, to be determined. That's where that other piece comes in, because Cucho Hernandez made them an elite team. Diego Rossi's got near 100 goal contributions. He's still a DP caliber player and was a huge piece of, I think, why Cucho flourished even the last couple of years. Like, he was great with Lucas Telarayan, but Rossi's running is such an underrated aspect of his game, and he opens the field up so much. And let's not sleep on Jason Russell-Rowe, because this guy, when he gets more quality minutes and starts up top, I think can be a real force for Columbus. Is he going to be Cucho? He's not a like-for-like replacement. He's more of a true striker. Well, he's young on Canada's radar, and I think he's the guy right now that's going to be the alpha dog until they bring in some support. I would think they would sign maybe some depth forward pieces within the first couple of weeks of the season too, before they make that big splash and go shopping on the DP, because that's one thing you need to take your time on.
Well, it's going to be an exciting season at the pitch. Thank you, Neil. There's more Ohio Sports Magazine up next on the Ohio News Network.
Ohio has over 920,000 diabetics. If you are a diabetic, take a step in the right direction by having your feet checked routinely by a podiatric physician, the most qualified doctors to care for your feet. Adding a podiatrist to your healthcare team can help you better manage the effects of diabetes on your feet. Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association podiatric physicians are located throughout the state. For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Have you ever told a friend?
Oh, I'm fine.
When you really felt?
Just so overwhelmed.
Or sent a text?
Can't sleep. Are you awake?
When you couldn't find the words to say?
I'm scared to be alone with my thoughts right now.
Then this is your sign to reach out to the 988 Lifeline for 24/7 free confidential support. You don't have to hide how you feel. Text, call, or chat anytime.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton. ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now, let's check in with Matt Andrews for this week's Ohio Broadcaster Roundtable.
Welcome back to the Ohio Sports Magazine as we continue along past Valentine's Day now. And that always means to a baseball person, Ryan Mitchell, it's pitchers and catchers reporting. Are you ready for this? It's here.
It's beautiful. Every bit as beautiful as Valentine's Day. And the love we all share for baseball should be celebrated every day. And, you know, after the Super Bowl, you can watch a deluge of tweets and posts, pitchers and catchers report. I was ready for that way before the Super Bowl. I don't take any time off from loving baseball.
Do you feel the excitement in the area as we near spring training and everything's beginning to start again?
I think there's a lot of excitement in the Buckeye State because, you know, Cleveland's coming off of a division championship and should be better this year. The Cincinnati Reds came off a very disappointing season, but there is so much on an individual basis to be excited about in Cincinnati. I mean, if you just get to watch Elly De La Cruz every day, that's exciting because he's going to do something that not many people can do. So, yeah, I think there is, like everywhere across the country, but particularly here, hope springs eternal once baseball season's around.
And the Columbus Clippers, your home, the AAA affiliate of the Guardians, but you have made a nice home here and become the radio guy here now for a couple decades.
Getting close to that. This is, I mean, gosh almighty.
It's crazy.
Time does fly when you're having fun. And, you know, I joined the team back in 2009 when the new ballpark opened. And so, it's over a decade and a half. I I'm over 2,000 Clippers games now, and it's the best ballpark in the minors. This is one of the better cities you can have. Our travel is pretty good. We've got teams that are close around. The affiliation makes all the sense in the world with Cleveland, and I'm very, very lucky to have been with this team and hoping to be here for a long time.
So give us an idea of what the Clippers can expect in terms of the field, what's going to be going on promotion-wise, maybe some things that have changed or are still the same in Columbus.
Well, with the Clippers, we like to innovate, but we also like the things that have become institutions, and nothing more so than 10-cent hot dogs. Dime a Dog Night will be back this year, and fans can enjoy those 10-cent hot dogs and Clippers baseball on Tuesdays. And in terms of on the field, Andy Tracy's back as the manager for the Clippers. There are some holdovers on the staff. Daniel Robertson will be back. Junior Betances, one of the hitting coaches. And we've got some new faces as well. Cody Buechel is going to be a pitching coach who was with the Clippers a couple of years ago, spent last year in Double-A. Brandon Lee, a longtime major leaguer, will be a pitching coach as well. And then another hitting coach, somebody you're very familiar with, and Ohio State fans should be as well, Matt Engel, a Columbus kid, a Buckeye, a major leaguer. He's going to join the team as a hitting coach as well. So in terms of the players, from all the time you spent in AAA baseball, we can have a general idea, but those names are going to change as Cleveland needs. And the AAA level, there's more change coming in and out than any other level around the minor league. So it's just hold on to your hats. We're probably going to see Chase DeLauder. We may see at some point Travis Bazzana. Those are the top two prospects in the organization. Some folks have them 1, some folks have them 2. Flipped around. Bazzana, of course, the number 1 pick for the Guardians out of Australia. Played his college ball at Oregon State, so there's a lot of excitement about him. It's really exciting, though, for Cleveland fans to see Chase DeLauder healthy, because he hasn't been. The last 2 years, he's had foot injuries, he's had leg injuries. He's played in the Arizona Fall League each of the last 2 seasons. Unusual for a top prospect to do it 2 years in a row, but he missed so much time, he just had to get those reps in, and he was great out there. So hopefully he is healthy, ready to go, and can help the Clippers and ultimately the Guardians.
Ryan Mitchell, our guest. You mentioned Huntington Park since 2009. It's still one of the great jewels of the league, and I know there's great pride there. Are there going to be changes? Is it a lot of what we've accustomed to in that ballpark?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, every year there are some renovations that go on. With our license with the major leagues, there are facility standards that get changed. Some of that stuff is not forward-facing that fans will see. But, one of the things that we try to do every year is to make sure that the stadium looks as good as it can. And, every few years there are some fan-friendly, forward-facing changes that happen there. This year there are no major renovations that are forward-facing for the fans. But as you said, it's a jewel. The old girl still looks pretty good.
She does,
and I love being there every single day.
Ryan, let me end with the $1 million Ohio question. The new skipper of the Reds is the old skipper of the Guardians / Indians. You dealt with Tito a little bit with your time there, obviously in Columbus. What can Reds fans look forward to with Terry Francona now managing their major league team? Well, Tito knows how to push the buttons. He is one of those guys that relates to the players very, very well. Stephen Vogt took over for the Guards last year after Tito stepped back away from the game. And that was one of the things that Cleveland people said is, wow, we can't believe we had another guy who can deal with people as well as Tito did. And, with Francona, there were so many health issues and surgeries. I mean, the guy's had more surgeries and have been performed at various medical centers on everywhere. And I think he just needed some time to step back, heal, and remember how much he loves the game. And he loves the game. And so that's what Reds fans are going to see. Organized. He has everything where it needs to be. He's brought some staff that was with him in Cleveland along. And I think you're just going to see a guy that's prepared every single day, loves the game, and is going to add some wins. Managers get too much credit and too much blame for what happens on the field. We know that. But he's a guy that can add a few wins just with his acumen. Dan Hoard told me on this show a few weeks ago he thought he was worth 10 wins for the organization. he's that important, isn't he?
That's a big number for any manager. But yes, doing what he does, knowing what he knows, preparing the way that he does for every single game, to have the chess match, thinking 5 moves ahead about what is coming up, not only for the X's and O's of a game, but knowing who you can use that day, who needs a day off, whether or not they like it. You know, there were some times when he had to tell Jose Ramirez, you're taking a day. And Jose didn't want a day, ever. Yeah. But he knew when to push that button. And the Reds are still a young team in a lot of regards. And when he took over for Cleveland, there was some thought, how is he going to do with a young team? He did the same as he did with a veteran team. He knows how to deal with these guys. He's going to get the most out of them. And so Cincinnati should be in for a pretty good season.
The voice of the Columbus Clippers, Ryan Mitchell. You're the best. We appreciate your time and have a great year, man.
Great to see you, Matt, and anytime.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and there's no limit. Plus, no interest financing for 3 years. That's 36 months, people. And if you already have a price from another company, Universal Windows Direct will beat it. So you know you're getting the best deal around.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
Attention hockey fans, score the ultimate experience powered by Verizon.
Verizon is giving 2 lucky winners the chance to win 4 tickets to the 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series at Ohio Stadium on March 1st. Plus 50 participants will have a chance to win a $50 gift card. Just stop by a participating Columbus Verizon store by February 18th to enter.
Get your shot at this unforgettable experience. Hurry to a participating Columbus Verizon store today to enter.
Must be legal U.S. resident of Ohio, age 18 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit 971thefan.com/Verizon.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
They're trained. They're fired up.
Let's do it.
When you need heat, they can't be beat. They're Ohio State's undefeated heating and cooling team. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
For Sunday, that rain transitions over to become all snow, and gusty winds will make travel difficult. So take your time, and we'll see those daytime highs in the upper 30s with temperatures crashing by Sunday night. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfalo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is ONN.
The Ohio State football team is closer to finalizing their coaching staff for the 2025 season. The Buckeyes lost their offensive and defensive coordinators from the 2024 national championship team. OC Chip Kelly took a similar job with the Las Vegas Raiders in the NFL, while defensive coordinator Jim Knowles joined James Franklin's staff at Penn State. Ryan Day confirmed that Brian Hartline will step into the offensive coordinator role, while ESPN reported Matt Patricia will be hired as the Buckeyes' new defensive coordinator. Patricia is relatively unknown in college football, but spent more than a decade as a defensive assistant and defensive coordinator under Bill Belichick, as a prominent figure during the New England Patriots Super Bowl runs in the early to mid-2000s. The 50-year-old Patricia also spent time as head coach of the Detroit Lions. Mike Debate hosts the Locked On Patriots podcast and joined Bo Bishop earlier this week on ONN affiliate WBNS FM in Columbus. Mike says he was a little shocked by the move, but not too surprised to see Matt Patricia join the college ranks.
Especially after Bill Belichick now going and taking his talents to the collegiate game and going to be coaching the North Carolina Tar Heels. It seems to be trending in that direction. The style that Belichick and Patricia and the coaches that kind of went under this tree for so long, I think it's going to translate well into the modern college game. So for me, this is a great hire. I think Matt has a wealth of knowledge, especially on the defensive side of the ball, that he can provide to young budding players that are aspiring to greater things in the NFL. But I think it's good for the program in general. I think it's good for all of the members of that roster because there is such a wealth of football knowledge in someone like a Matt Patricia.
It's been around so long under Belichick with New England, and some of those defenses obviously were tremendous. Mike, in terms of the thing that you notice over here is you go, well, I guess I've been in college football since 2003, and certainly college football is more like the NFL than ever before, but you still have to be able to relate and talk to kids 18 to 22 and to be able to inspire them and recruit them and all of those things. I don't know Matt at all. How do you think he will handle that?
I think Matt is going to handle that pretty well. I think his stint coaching the Detroit Lions as the head coach in the NFL is going to serve him extremely well in this regard. One of the knocks on Matt Patricia during that job, and one of the reasons why I believe he struggled, was interpersonal relationships. I'm not going to sugarcoat that, but I think there was a great number of lessons to be learned in that regard. Matt has seemed to emerge from that job with a newfound, I believe, ability to communicate. And look, when he came back to New England for his second stint, I had the opportunity to speak with him via Zoom conference a couple of times. And I remember him telling me that one of the things that he loved about coaching was the teaching aspect of it. He loved teaching the game. When you teach, you become a coach at that point in order to teach, and being able to work in all facets of the game, offense, defense, special teams, really lights someone like Matt Patricia up. I watched it in Bill Belichick for a number of years, for as ornery and as difficult as he could be at times with the media. And, everybody knows the reputation that Bill had. But when he was teaching the game, you did not see a happier Bill Belichick. I think Matt Patricia has emulated that. And I believe a lot of it has rubbed off in this situation. So I do believe he's going to be much better equipped this time to deal with personalities, especially with those in college. I think he recognizes that it is a younger audience that he's going to be teaching at this point. He's going to need to be, and I believe he will be. I don't think he would have taken the job otherwise.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Back in the studio with a return visit from
Todd Schmeldt.
Todd, the last time you were with us, you claimed to be
the dumbest person in Columbus.
You're being really hard on yourself.
Not in the least. You know what I got?
I hate to ask.
One of them thermostats with the dial and the needle. Woo, woo, woo.
Maybe that's not modern, but not...
What am I? Eli Whitney, Elias Howe, Johann Gertis?
I don't know who those people are.
Those are old-timey people from the 19th century, and that's me. Outdated, like my silly old thermostat.
Okay, look, you're not the dumbest guy in Columbus. You just haven't called Apex Pros.
The pros who knows?
Those those guys. Whether it's the latest technology, fixing your furnace, or a brand new system, they know all the stuff so you don't have to.
I don't have to know it all?
Nah, you just have to know the pros who knows.
Apex Pros. I'm not the dumbest guy in Columbus.
I didn't even know who Johann Gertis was.
Inventor of the gas-powered unicycle. Look it up, doy.
Okay, you don't have to be me.
No doubt about it, Columbus loves Apex Pros, the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Now's your chance. Tackle those bigger projects with an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Transform your home with a new Dakota closet. Build your dream bathroom and save on luxury tubs and showers. Customize your kitchen with Clearview cabinetry. Or start your big garage project. Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. 11% mail-in rebate is a merchandise credit check. Good on future in-store purchases. See Menards.com for details.
Save big money at Menards.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for two things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Columbus, Worthington, Air, and Bryant. Doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
This is ONN.
Well, we get a chance to talk with Bob Cohen, the author of the 50 Greatest Players in Cincinnati Reds history. And Bob, you've done this with a number of other teams also. Have you, just to begin, we'll ask you, have you kind of used the same formula with each team, or is it different from team to team?
Well, it's different somewhat different with the older teams. Like I've done some of the expansion teams, like I did the Houston Astros, and I'm actually starting to work on a book on the New York Mets. But with the more historic teams like the Reds and the Chicago Cubs and the Yankees and Red Sox, it's a little bit different because there's more eras to cover, and then you have to take more factors into consideration.
So did you break it up by segments as far as years or decades or time periods?
No, but I tried to factor into the equation when formulating my rankings the different styles of play during each period and the different ballparks that the players competed in. So you have to factor everything into the equation.
Okay, when we start to think about the Reds franchise, and of course being a native Cincinnati and being familiar with that, I've got kind of my own thoughts on it, but were the big Red Machine teams of the 70s, were they kind of part of your points in all of this?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I think there were about 10 players on the Big Red Machine that made it into my top 50. I mean, they had probably if not the greatest, one of the two or three greatest offensive teams in baseball history. Just the lineup from the front end to the back end was just tremendous. So I think everybody made my top 50 on that lineup, aside from probably Cesar Geronimo. He made an honorable mention. But I think everybody else in the Big Red Machine made it into the top 50. At least it's the starting lineup.
Kind of safe to say, Bob, that Pete Rose, with all that he did, even despite some of the baggage that comes with his name, that he's kind of the forefront of that?
Well, yeah, he's in my top three. I narrowed it down for my top three between Johnny Bench, Pete Rose, and Frank Robinson, who probably some of the younger Red fans don't remember as being a member of the Cincinnati Reds. But those are my top three, and in the end, I went with Bench for number one because he was the only one of the three that spent his entire career in Cincinnati. But those three, I was able to narrow it down to those three. But although there were several others that figured heavily into the equation, including Joe Morgan, Barry Larkin, and Joey Votto.
Now, you mentioned Frank Robinson, and I'm going to go back to that time frame. You know, there were guys like Wally Post, Ted Kluszewski, Gus Bell, so many of those. Was that also a time period there in the 50s and the 60s that gave you some of your fodder there, Bob?
Yeah, don't forget Veda Pinson.
Oh, no, not at all.
Very much overlooked and underappreciated. Yeah, he was a tremendous player. Yeah, that was, and even some of the pitchers on that staff. I had Joey J. and Bob Perky. They were honorable mentions. But yeah, that period of time was also very, very prevalent in my rankings.
You know, when you think about this franchise, they had so many different segments. We've talked about the 70s, you know, the 60s, the 50s. But even you go back to guys like Derringer and Bucky Walters and people like that. Were they also part of the field that you looked at, Bob?
Yes, they both. In fact, Bucky Walters figured prominently. He made it into the top, I believe, 12 or 13 in my rankings. But even before then, if you want to go back to the early part of the 20th century, there were some dead ball era players that made the list. You had a player called Noodles Hahn, who was an outstanding left-handed pitcher during the first decade of the 20th century, and you had Bob Bescher, who was an outfielder who was considered to be one of the premier base stealers of the dead ball era. And, of course, you had Cy Seymour, who holds franchise career and single-season records for highest batting average. So you go back all the way to the dead ball era in these rankings.
Ernie Lombardi fall in there somewhere too, Bob?
Oh, yes. He figures in there prominently. And Frank McCormick, I remember him.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it Mike McCormick? No,
I think it was Frank McCormick, yes.
Frank McCormick, yeah. And if you go ahead a few years, you had, like you mentioned, Wally Post and Gus Bell. Of course, I think you mentioned Ted Kluszewski, who was one of the most feared hitters in the game for nearly a decade.
Yeah, I'm favorable to Gus Bell. I grew up with some of his kids, and he worked with my father when he first got out of baseball.
Really?
Yeah. How did you mentioned the fields they played in? How did that factor into everything, Bob?
Well, the Crossley Field was considered to be a hitter's ballpark, basically. So you had to consider that when looking at the numbers that the players compiled. But also, I think the era was more important because when the dead ball era, you couldn't expect players to hit that many home runs. Like the home run really did not become a factor in the game until the 20s and 30s. So you had a player like Ed Rausch, who was star center fielder for the Reds during the I guess from about 1915 to about 1925. So he didn't hit a lot of home runs, but he was a tremendous defensive center fielder and had one of the highest career batting averages in franchise history.
You know, a guy who started with a splash, but then his career because of injuries tailed off a bit. Just curious to where Eric Davis fit into all of this, Bob.
Oh yeah, he's actually I think I have him at number 10 because he had some phenomenal years before. Like you said, the injuries started to hurt him, but he was a tremendous player for a few years.
You know, this is a franchise, and you talked about it, Bob, known so much for hitting, but who are some of the pitchers that really got your attention in compiling all of this?
Well, I think you mentioned Bucky Walters. I think he's my top-ranked pitcher. And then right behind him, you have Epa Rixey, who was the ace of the staff for most of the 1920s. And then you had a pitcher named Pete Donahue also, who won 20 games 3 times during the 1920s. I mentioned Noodles Hahn before. Then there was Dolph Luke, who had one of the greatest seasons a Reds pitcher ever had in the early 1920s. And then a little bit later on, of course, you had Tom Seaver.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, Seaver and Ken Griffey Jr. Don't figure quite as prominently in the rankings you might expect because they had great years for other teams, most of their greatest seasons for other teams, but they both figured prominently in the rankings. And Seaver, I think, made it by number 25 or so. Of course, you had a couple of bullpen artists like Aroldis Chapman and John Franco. Mm-hmm. And you had a couple of later pitchers like Johnny Cueto and Jose Rio also.
Yeah, those were guys that performed on big stage. Hey, Bob, thank you for the time on all of this. Look forward to looking into the book. And as a lifelong Reds fan, it's been great to run through some of those names with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you for having me on your show.
We'll be back with more Ohio Sports Magazine next on the Ohio News Network.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you if you could simply take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family, apartment buildings, rental portfolios. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Call TurboTrack Realty today for an all-cash offer and speak with one of our friendly staff members at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Get a recap of all the day's news from across the state.
ONN affiliate WBNS TV reports.
Haley Kirby reporting in downtown Toledo.
From the State House, Kevin Landers.
ONN Canton.
ONN affiliate WKYC TV in Cleveland explains.
In Marietta, Brett Wharf, ONN News.
Emma Henderson in Genoa.
The ONN Daily Podcast. Listen at ONNradio.com or wherever you download your favorite podcasts from the Ohio News Network.
If you recently lost health coverage due to a life change, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it was there for Marcus when he lost his job, and Keisha when she turned 26 and lost her parents' insurance, and Elena when she went off Medicaid. There are many other ways to qualify. Visit healthcare.gov today to see if you're eligible to enroll. Limited time to enroll. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
February is Children's Dental Health Month, so make sure you make an appointment for your child to visit an Ohio Dental Association member dentist. ODA member dentists are located throughout the state and are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, are bound by the highest ethical standards, and have access to superior ongoing education and training. On your next visit, ask if your child's dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association and American Dental Association, so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, visit ODA.org. We plant trees because people need trees, and when planted in the right place, they have great impact. Trees help slow climate change, filter our air and water, foster biodiversity, and strengthen our communities. They create the kind of transformational change the world needs now. April is a month filled with opportunities to care for and plant trees. For planting resources, contact an Ohio ISA certified arborist who can help you learn how to take the best care of your trees. Visit trees4ohio.org. That's trees4ohio.org.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Now let's get some highlights from the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Here's producer Bodie Wells to set the scene.
Thanks, Jay. On the show this week, the guys chatted about the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 44-10 and lead the Eastern Conference as they head into the All-Star break.
In your opinion, what has been the most surprising part of the Cavaliers up to this point?
Mobley is the easy answer here, and it probably is the right answer. But the reason I struggle with it is Mike and I sat here and took bullets all last year saying it's in there, it's in there, it's in there, it's in there. So while it's a surprise, it's kind of not, because we thought it was in there all along. It just had to come out. You could say Darius. But Darius was an all-star before, and he's just sort of returning to the level that he played at previously. So it's really, I guess, for me, the best way to answer this is it is best case scenarios for everybody coming together. And Kenny Atkinson learned a lot, I think, in his time at Golden State. I was talking to some people with the Warriors that I almost want to go out and talk to Steve Kerr about being like this coach whisperer, and the way that guys come in and get on his staff and see the Warriors culture and the Warriors way and Steve's way of doing it, and they leave completely changed coaches. Mike Brown left a completely different coach when he left Golden State than when he entered. I think Kenny has changed from when he entered to when he left. So
to catch the full breakdown, just search for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on YouTube. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and enjoy their daily content covering all things Cleveland sports. We'll be back to wrap up this week's Ohio Sports Magazine show here on the Ohio News Network.
This promo is for anyone who likes baseball or America or Terry Francona's scooter. The Reds are on the Fan. Catch all 162 games here on the Fan and 1460 ESPN Columbus and the Fan's HD2. Your home for Reds baseball, the Fan.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals with savings beyond low prices. Like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
You'll find low prices on thousands of items. The yellow and red tags mean you'll save big on sparkling ice water, Kroger brand chips, and so much more. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Attention hockey fans, score the ultimate experience powered by Verizon.
Verizon is giving 2 lucky winners the chance to win 4 tickets to the 2025 Navy Federal Credit Union NHL Stadium Series at Ohio Stadium on March 1st. Plus 50 participants will have a chance to win a $50 gift card. Just stop by a participating Columbus Verizon store by February 18th to enter.
Get your shot at this unforgettable experience. Hurry to a participating Columbus Verizon store today to enter.
Must be legal U.S. resident of Ohio, age 18 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit 971thefan.com/Verizon. Home values in Columbus are sky high, and you have a ton of equity. Your financial advisor thinks the market has peaked. So if you're thinking about selling, it's time. Except for 2 things. High interest rates will burn you on a new home loan, and you're not ready to move. Savvy financial advisors suggest Truehold's new Sell and Stay program. It's ingenious because they buy your home now while its value is high, but you can stay in your home as long as you want with an easy, affordable lease. Smart, right? Truehold will make you a solid cash offer, not a lowball offer like the others. It's based on your home's current value. The cash is yours to travel, pay off bills, or secure your retirement. And again, you can stay in your home with a comfortable lease. Truehold covers property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. See how much Truehold will pay for your home today. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Aaron, I've been thinking.
About what?
About how you invented a way to fix ACs for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
When customers buy a new HVAC system, we give back all the money they paid us to repair their old system.
Yeah, I know. Up to $1,500.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We're basically extending the life of their old system for free.
That's right. Those extra years are free. On me.
Don't you think it would be better if we said those extra years are a plus on us?
Sure, we can say that if you want.
I think it would be better.
Get Eco.
ECO.
We don't want people to forget that you have a silent partner.
Remind me, how did we become partners?
Aaron, we became partners when you let me move into your spare office and I began giving you free advice instead of paying rent.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Oh yeah, now I remember. Best deal I ever made.
I feel that way too.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco. Plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians. GetEco.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
The only show where sports talk is eclipsed by food talk.
Oh, nuts.
Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan. Now back to Ohio Sports Magazine on the Ohio News Network. Once again, here's Jay Fox.
Big thanks to Neil Sika and Tim Alcorn for joining us this week. Thanks to all of our Locked On podcast contributors this week as well. For Bodie Wells, Eric Reeser, and Paul Keels, I'm Jay Fox. Thanks for listening to Ohio Sports Magazine. Join us next week right here on the Ohio News Network.